What is up, guys? My name is Serum, and welcome to the complete guide to master Serum. Now, guys, we've gone over most of the synth, and today we're going to be going into the hidden features of Serum, and I call them this. You don't need to crack the software. You don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need to right-click and show hidden folders or anything for this. I call it the hidden features of Serum because this is the most overlooked section of Serum. And here, we're going to find a couple of good, juicy things that I'm going to teach you guys how to use, which you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I haven't used that, or wow, I can't believe not a lot of people use that. Even myself, I was working on the Paradox soundset this past week. That's why I didn't release a video. And I wished I would have used this a lot more because there's a lot of powerful stuff that you can find in here for your sound design. Now, with that being said, guys, let's get started with this video, okay? So first off, guys, we're not going to focus with the preferences down the middle here, as these are going to have to deal with the way Serum looks, the way it works, the workflow of it. So you can read what it does, you can turn it off. The reason I'm not going over it is because you have settings like default waveform overview. So every time you're making a sound, if you don't want this to look like this and you just want it to be there by default, that's where you change it. You know, there's a lot of little things like that, which I don't really need to explain for you guys. It's more about the way it looks. You can take off the piano if you want, and vice versa. Just make sure that when you do set your settings up, you click save and then you open and close Serum up so it gives you the things that you have asked for. Okay, now to the right of that, guys, we have the oscillator settings. Now in the oscillator settings, there's a couple of things we can do. The first one is going to be our pitch track. Now by default, you want to have these on because who doesn't want the sound to follow the notes that you're playing on a piano? However, here is where you can have this pretty much shut off. So let's say I turn oscillator A off. It doesn't matter where I play in the piano, it just plays that one. So I can still change it with this octave. But this is cool if for some reason you want to mimic like pretty much modular stuff. In essence, you know, a modular synthesizer, like a module for the synth, you will get a basic saw coming out of it where you can't really change the notes on it unless you add a MIDI or a pitch track module on it, so you can kind of have the movement on that. Similar here, you could do that if you want, but in all honesty, a lot of times you just leave them on if you wanted to follow it. There's really not much to do there. Now to the right of that, we have the quality, and a lot of people think this is the quality of how Serum sounds like. So a lot of people will say put that on 4x and set it to stone, lock that mother. But you know, in all honesty, this is not the quality of Serum. By default, the quality of Serum is already set to the maximum output. What this is actually for is going to be the quality, the oversampling of your warps. Now I'll show you guys an example here. We're going to have an FM here from this saw to this saw. Now, when I put this at 1x, you're going to hear the difference instantly. You can hear 1x sounds really rough. It has a bit of a nasty vibe to it, while 2x, it's a little cleaner, and 4x, similar to 2x, but it's just a tad bit cleaner. Now, you might be going, well, Sen, why the fuck do we have those settings for? Why would we want it to be low quality? Well, in essence, guys, you know, a lot of the times with FM synths, like the Yamaha DX7 that I have to my left, a lot of these synths had character to them. That's why you see a lot of old guys mainly like lusting over these guys because of the character it had. The fact that it was low quality is what they liked about it, because they could use it sounds that sounded a bit lo-fi or a little bit more warmer, per se. It wasn't too perfect, and that's what people love about that stuff. So here, by default, you are at 2x. So if you want the almost quality, go to 4x. But however, if you're trying to replicate like a Yamaha DX7 type of FM, definitely go with the lowest quality possible. That's going to give you a little bit more of that noise, that dirt that you would kind of get from that synth when you would push it really hard. Okay, but that's what the quality is for. It's for your warps. You're going to see that on FM, on the sync, on any warp you have. That is the quality for that. So that's what that is for. It's not to make Serum sound nicer than it already is. To the right of that, we're going to have our noise fine, guys, and that's just going to be with the tuning of the synth. By default, most synths will be tuned to 440. Hell, most music instruments are tuned to 440. That is the set standard, and that's what's going to make a C be a C when you're playing on the keyboard. If you switch that when you play a C, you might get something that sounds like a D. So essentially, you want to leave that by default at 440. I've never seen a reason to really change that up in any way or form. They're just there to, I guess, add more to the synth if you want to change it and whatnot. Okay, that is going to be our oscillator settings. And again, you guys saw there's a couple of cool things in there that we can utilize for a sound design. Mainly the pitch track, if you want to go more of the modular route where you have just one saw coming out. You don't care about the key it's in, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. Or you could do you know, low quality type of FM, which is what you would use to mimic like DX7 old school FM synthesizers. Now the next setting we have here, guys, are going to be Chaos 1 and Chaos 2, which are LFOs. Now if you notice, they don't have the traditional LFO envelope grid here that you can do free flowing, do whatever you want with them. No, what you see is what you get. Chaos 1 is going to be a more bipolar Chaos LFO, which tends to go up and down. It's a little bit more subtle. Chaos 2 is more chaotic, and it tends to just go crazy. Let's just put it that way. That's the best way I can put it. Okay, now in order to add these to certain things, like let's say our saw pitch, we need to go into the matrix. We need to set them that way. There's no other way to do it, so that's why they're not as heavily used, because it does take a little bit longer to add them. So if I put Chaos 1 to our destination of oscillator A pitch here, and let's do it to maybe the coarse pitch, and let's just add a bit of an amount. Okay, that's gonna be Chaos 1 on it. Okay, now with the BPM sync, again, we can set like maybe 1/8. We can set 4 bars long, so it's a little bit more subtle, so you don't want it to be that crazy. You know, it sounds a bit funky. You can make the value a lot lower. But you can kind of hear it's not like a LFO where it's like subtle and like, you know, always the same. No, it does random things throughout. You got to keep that in mind. Now, here we have our mono setting. Now, what that means is that let's say I play chords, like let's say I play 4 notes. And let's take off the mono legato here. What that means is each note that I'm playing, each saw, I'm playing 3 saws in total right now, it's going to have their own chaos, their own separate chaos modulation. Now, if I set that to mono, they're all going to have it. They're all going to have the same chaos modulator going on them, okay? If I take it off, you know, each one is going to have one individually. Now, the sample and hold here is cool, as it's more of a, let's just put it as a square style of LFO. What I mean by that is it's very sudden. Let's make this higher. So instead of it being gradual, it's more like instant, pop, 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 like a square. Think about it when you're doing LFO here, where it's like, all right, nothing's happening, then boom, all of a sudden, then nothing's happening, then boom, straight max. You can see it's more modular. I guess that's the term to put it for the sample and hold, okay? Now, if we want to put Chaos 2, Chaos 2 can go over here. We can play. Sample and hold does the same thing. So these are good for kind of doing those kind of crazy sounds. If that's what you're into and you want to do modular stuff, go for it. Now below this, guys, is one of the more powerful sections inside of Serum. And this is something that, again, I overlooked a lot when I was creating the Techno Paradox sound set, which is why I didn't make a lot of videos, okay? Essentially, first off, here we have our range. That has to deal with our detunement value here. Let's say I have 8 voices. When I detune all the way up, I'm going up to a range of 2 semitones. If I put this up to 48, then I'm going up 48 semitones. That's the detunement amount, so it's a lot. By default, it's set to 2 because remember, detunement doesn't need to be heavy where it's like they're heavily detuned, but just slightly off to create the super saw. However, here you can set it to max values of like octaves up, and at the highest octave, some saws, pretty much the ones more in the outer edge, as you can see there, are gonna be a lot more. They're gonna be at 12. Let's just put it that way. In between that, you're gonna have different saws at different pitches there, okay? To the left, -12. To the right, +12. Let's say to the left here, -8. This one's +8 on the right. That's how that works, okay? Now, so that's what's gonna be for our range if you want to use that. But by default, I like to set it to 2. If you want to go a little bit heavier with that, you can go up to 3 or 4, but don't go up all the way unless you really want that kind of sound, which I'm not a huge fan of, okay? Now below that, we have the width, and this is super, super powerful. As you guys know, when we put 8 voices on a saw, detune, you know, essentially what's happening is your Serum is grabbing each saw and it's detuning it, and it's also panning each one left and right. So that's what creates our width with the detunement. However, let's assume that that's not what you want. You want this to be mono but detuned. Then this is where, again, you know, a lot of techno sounds are in mono. They have a lot of detunement, but they're in mono. Well, this is where you set the width down to 0. And that's how we do that. You can make it a little bit more centered. and that's going to control the width. This is very powerful, guys. This is so powerful. Believe it or not, you know, I wished I would have used this feature a lot more to make more mono sounding super saws rather than stereo ones. As in techno, a lot of it is very mono. So this is useful for that. Whenever you want to sound like to be mono, do it inside of Serum. It sounds a lot cleaner than putting a utility from Ableton in the effects section and collapsing it into mono where it sounds a bit off. Okay. With that being said, the next thing we have is our warp, guys. Now, this warp thing is also very strong. Now, as you guys know, when I told you when we detune, we're pretty much giving different values to the saws. We're not heavily detuning them, but like in essence, you know, we're not making each saw be like plus 12 semitones up, plus down negative 12. No, we're doing it slightly. So if let's say I have a sync and I do this, all the super saws, all the saws have the same value. Now, this is where this warp section comes into play. If I set this to around 30, then the range of the warp for each super saw is going to differ. And that's what creates. Now, each super saw is going to have its own value at 100. You can hear that some of it is synced, some of it it's not. That's useful for that. Let's say you want to run a sync, but you don't want all the super saws to have it. This is where you can do it. You can use it subtly. So that's what that is going to be for. Now, the next setting we have is very similar to the warp in the sense that if I put this up, then the left and the right, or each, let's say I have more than one unison, each one's going to have a different value when it comes to the wavetail position. And here you decide the spread of that. So in essence here, if I have a triangle, let's say, now here I have a couple of saws playing, 5, and each one's going to have a different value. If I go all the way to the left, you can see that sounds more like a square in a way. And to the right, it sounds more like an H pulse, a Q pulse. Let's say I put this on the side. You have different values for those, so keep that in mind. That's what that does. So if you're using like very wavetables that are a bit like gradual, then you can use that. That we have that, okay, and that's what this warp wavetail position is going to do. It offsets the wavetable position of each saw or of each wavetable. Let's say we have 5. Each 5 of those is going to be different in terms of where it's at in the wavetable position. Again, very strong, really strong features there if you want to use those. Okay, now. Let's say we have 5 unison now, and we move down to our stack. This is just making one of the saws be an octave up. So both, you know, you're gonna have a bit of equal there of each saw. Some of them are playing at low octave, one at here you can make it 2x. So you can have it stacks up 3 octaves, and then you can have, you know, chord. 7. The 2x, the 3x just means octaves up. So that means this is playing an octave up plus 7. So you could say that's kind of like 19 plus 19 semitones on this guy here. So this is playing, yeah, if I could do it 1 and then 7 there. Okay, that's all that means, the 2x, the 3x, okay? So don't think it's anything fancy. The last two we have, guys, are going to be the center 12 and the center 24. Now, all that means is that the center oscillators, let's say we have a 7 here. You can see we have one in the center. You can make that one be an octave down or 2 octaves down. Okay, that's all that is going to be for, and that is going to be about it. Now, below that, we have the mode for the unison that is going to have to deal with the detunement. First off, in linear, the detunement is gradual. That means when I detune here, you have positive change and negative change, but they're going to equal in the number. So that means if I go up 12 detunement, then on the left side, I'm going to have negative 12. They're going to be the same, pretty much opposites. Similar to if you watch the movie Us, you're going to have a clone that's negative or positive, okay? Once we move that to super is going to have a bit of an offset in that. So that means that they're not going to be all the same in the left and the right, but they're going to be off by maybe a few fine. That's useful for, again, creating superstars that are a little bit more lush and aren't as in tune. Let's just put it that way. You know, the way the manual categorizes super is like, think about it like a full band playing. They're not all in tune, but they're all playing the same note. So that creates the sound of, you know, kind of detunement or chorus, I guess, multiple instruments playing. When we go to exponential, it's similar to super, but it's a little bit more in tune. You're going to see the way it changes. It's very subtle. And then you have inversion, which goes more out of tune. And you can see, you know, that looks a lot funkier. So you can see how it changes up there. So go to, let's say, linear. Super. Sounds a little warmer. Exponential. It's just very subtle. This one sounds a little bit weirder, like there's something wrong, but it still sounds in tune. Now, if we move to random, then that's just a random like detunement added for these. So you can see these guys are all over the place now. So like, remember, this works in conjunction with your range. Okay, so that's all that's going to be, guys. But those are going to be the pretty much the hidden features of the global section of Serum. I put hidden features to get a lot more views, I'm not going to lie. But hopefully you guys can find use for them. Hopefully you can make some cool sounds with it. But now you know how to make something sound mono. You know how to, you know, alter the detunement. Essentially, you wouldn't be able to do it here, but now you can do it in the global. You know what the quality is for. You know what the pitch tracking is for. You know what the chaos ones do. Use them subtly, again, unless you want to do crazy stuff like very modular, very random stuff. Those are going to be your guys when it comes to the LFOs. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys next time with a complete guide to Master Serum. Now, next time, we are going to be getting into creating wavetables inside of Serum. I'm not the best pro when it comes to the top part of the bin, so you're going to have to find a video for that yourself of someone explaining it. I tried looking for videos, and it just doesn't click for me. I know it's additive synthesis. I know it deals with frequencies, but again, that's just not for me. So I'm going to teach what I know pretty good, and that is creating the wavetables, how to use it, how to create wavetables, how to use the menu here to create awesome wavetable variations with the wavetables you already have if you don't want to go here and draw your wavetables. We're going to get into all that cool stuff so you guys can do it yourself, but other than that, I'll see you guys next time. If you want to support the channel, this is why I saw you the sound man, guys. Make sure to check out Paradox if you're into techno sound sets. You can reverse engineer the presets to learn how those sounds work, which is a super useful thing to do if you're trying to learn sound design fast. This is what I did back in 2013, 2012 when I was just getting into sound design. But other than that, see you guys next time. Take care and peace out.